Okay, welcome everybody. I am doing a modified version of RAX and Trax. I can't say his name, but I love the guy. He makes excellent videos. He helped me get into Path of Exile 1. He helped me get into Path of Exile flat. And he helped me make this build. Not him personally, but I watched his other build and was inspired to iterate and change. Uh, I'm happy to share my build with you, but I suggest you guys do the same thing I did. For two reasons. One, I'm a new player. I'm probably making a lot of mistakes. Two, because I had an excellent time doing this. And I hope that you guys can have an excellent time changing this yourself. So, I'm going to quickly go over what Rax did, and then I'll start going to what I changed. So, base part, attack speed, crit damage, attack speed. Early game, when you're first starting out, these nodes can be pretty helpful. This can also be pretty helpful for a little extra mana regen, a couple extra attributes, but you'll want to eventually refund those. They're cheap enough, don't worry about it. Then, right here, we got crit chance. Go here. Early game, I recommend just going through here. Forget about these. They're not entirely necessary, and you're not going to have much crit chance in the beginning. So it doesn't really matter. But go through these, go there. Then, next thing you want to do, you'll be running a lot of lightning. You'll have a few elemental skills at your disposal right away. So it's not a bad idea to go up here. That's kind of what he recommends too. He says fill this whole thing out. I've only done so partially, and that's just due to a lack of points. I think I will fill this out more in the future, but right now I'm happy where it's at. So you're welcome to fill it out if you really need the damage. Not necessary. Then I would recommend you start going down here. Go through here. It's a bit of a far ways, for sure. But once you get down here, you can rush these two. You'll get more evasion from your armor, more evasion right here, and a bunch of evasion all right here. And around this point, you should be getting your Herald as well. Or your first gem that allows you to get Herald of Frost, Herald of Thunder, whatever works best for you at the time. It doesn't really matter. You won't be doing an insane amount of damage of either, but these will help you out no matter what. 50% increased damage with either Herald, and when you can, I recommend getting both. That's where him and I differ. Then I recommend you go up here and go for this node. This will give you more power charges, or increased amount of power charges while you're attacking. Very good. I skimped out on these two nodes and these two nodes. I know he did something similar with the top one, and that's personal choice. I don't need crit damage bonus. I'd like it, but I just don't have the points for it. And these, if you really want to do more stun, that's fine. But most of the time, I'm freezing things way before they can stun. And if it's a boss, my bell is doing plenty of stun anyway. So that's where we're pretty much the same. Then he also goes up here. He grabs these, attack speed, more attributes. Excellent. Up here, you get more attack damage. That's also an excellent node. I grabbed these. This gives you a little more sustain. This gives you life recovery, energy shield recharge rate, and intelligence. I think this is an excellent node. That's why I went here. Then I would recommend coming up here and getting all these. Now, he doesn't have this one unlocked. It's a gem socket. It's right there. I had a gem, so I figured why not? So I grabbed it. But you don't have to. That's completely your choice, but I'd also recommend filling all these in. These two are crit damage bonus. I skipped out on those in favor of crit chance and more crit chance, more damage if you've done a crit. Excellent. By the time you get here, that's when you want to start speccing into this and kind of going that way. Um, then at some point you also want to make your way over here. This gives you more attack speed for every dexterity that you have. Incredibly good. Down here is another critical chance node. I went this side for more crit chance, and then I get increased intelligence, and then right here adds +1 crit chance basically to your weapon, which, if you know how crit chance works, I really don't, but I know you want a lot of it, and right now my crit chance is around 40%, and it still has plenty of room to grow with a couple more nodes that I will talk about later. But I recommend, when you're done with that, fill these out. And then, this is everything that I have built. I'll get a nice kind of picture for you guys. Then, over here, this is my ascendancy. This is what I decided. And me and RAX are pretty much the same here. He goes these two, you get more cold damage, freezing on chilled ground. I mean, they all synergize well. Then right here, elemental damage, unbound avatar. This gives you more elemental damage, gives you more chance to apply an ailment, and makes that ailment better. Excellent all the way around. You are popping off freezes, shocks, everything immediately. Then you go right here, evasion, energy shield. This gives you more spirit based on how much evasion and energy shield you have. I recommend picking this node up third, because at that point you might be at a chance where you get around 30 to 60 like I have. I don't know how much this actually gives me, but it's giving me a pretty... Oh no, it's giving me a lot. So wait a little more. This should definitely be your third node. But after that, you're kind of set. You can go here. I'm going to experiment with this. I don't know how good. Physical damage reduction is always excellent, don't get me wrong, but you get less evasion rating. You could also go over here. This is what I think is really good. You get critical hits, ignore elemental resistances. And with my crit chance right now, that is every other hit. So half of my damage penetrates more, which is insane. So that's kind of my plan there. Now, I have a few more points to go. I'm 75, so 25. I plan to fill in this node first, fill these in, and then probably fill in this crit chance bonus here, and maybe fill this out after. I might go for more power charges, I might go for more tankiness. Really, this build is super flexible. Kind of go for what you need. You have a lot of freedom to kind of choose what you want. You could even go down here. This, you get more element buildup, elemental damage for every ailment on an enemy. And if you're stacking the way I am, this will be 45% more damage. Now, you might be hearing that thinking, where are you getting your fire damage from? Why do you have this? Well, that brings me to my gear. Now, let's take a look here. My staff. I have this adds 39 fire damage. I recommend a high roll. It doesn't have to be tier 7, but I recommend a high roll for fire damage, because you want to be inflicting burning as much as you can, because that's going to be the hardest element for you to put on. But when you do, you get 30% more damage. It's a no-brainer. But for a staff, what you're looking for is physical damage. Now, most quarterstaffs that have physical damage on them, you can quality them up, more physical damage. Then you can put these iron runes in. Iron runes are going to be your best friend with your staff. They're pretty cheap. They drop often. Don't be afraid to put them on your staff. 40% more damage. Percentage increased physical damage is nice. I'd really like flat physical damage as well. I just don't have that on here. Accuracy rating, not important. Dead roll for all I care. Stun buildup is nice. It's not the most important in the world, but stun is nice. Then we got mana on kill. Again, it's nice, not necessary. I'd rather attack speed than all of these. Then we got critical hit chance. I have quite a bit more. That adds it right to it. And then that gets my critical hit chance to around that 40% I was telling you. 42.16. So, excellent there. Now, rest of the gear is going to be mostly the same. You want life, you want resistances. You want to be capped. Priority number 1, cap all your resistances a little bit over 75. If you go a lot over 75, you can do mods that lower your resistances just fine, but that's not too big of a deal here in Path of Exile 2. It was much of a bigger problem in Path of Exile 1. So it's not the end of the world. So don't feel like you need to overcap your resistances, at least as far as I've found. Now, we have our staff right here. I'd like this to be an energy shield and evasion. Unfortunately, it's only energy shield, but it's a really good helmet, so it's what I have. Resistances, max life, more energy shield, and rarity. I'm trying to stack rarity. I feel like it helps. I could be talking on my butt there, but who knows? I'm getting good drops, I'm getting exalts, usually 1 or 2 a map, so I'm happy with that. Right here, rarity. Rings will add physical damage to attacks. There's rules for that. So I recommend trying to find flat damage for that. Aside from that, life resistances. Same thing here. Life and resistances. Now for an amulet. What do you want? Life and resistances. You put life and resistances on everything. Right here, life, resistances. Now, stuff to increase your evasion, energy shield, go for it. Those are nice to have as well. Life, resistance, number 1, always. Until you get to your boots. Your boots are the only ones that, the one step more important to me. Move speed. I'd rather 25%. I think that's the highest I've seen, but 20%, fine by me. Aside from that, resistances. I don't have any life. I would like it. Right here, life, resistances. Try to go for attack speed if you can find it too. If you can't find, if you can't get a roll for fire damage to your quarterstaff, then that's okay. You can always get added fire damage on your gloves. Not the end of the world. And then we got the heavy belt. Heavy belt, resistances, some attributes. I don't love putting attributes on my gear. That's why I spec so many in my tree. But you don't have to. You can stack them all over your gear if you're perfectly fine with that. When you get to further end game, that's probably something I will do. Then I have a rarity charm. Just for more item rarity. That's all that really is. Now, let's take a look at our gems. So we have Unbound Avatar. Rep this straight from his build, +1 level to all skills. Excellent. Now, next we go Ice Strike. Ice Strike, I qualityed this one up because the quality gives us more attack speed. And then we have more attack speed again. Then we have Pulling Strike. I'll be honest, I don't know how great this is. I think I might swap this out for more Freeze, but we're freezing just fine, to be honest with you too, so it's not the end of the world. But Culling Strike I don't think is doing as much as I'd like it to be. Next we have our Tempest spell. We have Rage. Gain 3 range on melee hit. And creates a font of Rage. That gives you more rage. That, bottom line, your bell is giving you Rage. And Rage increases your damage by 1% every rage you have, up to 30. So, you can have up to 30% more damage every attack. And that means all your physical damage is 30% higher, and then 80% of that physical damage is converted to cold, and then 80%, or is it 90 even for this? 80% of your physical damage is converted into lightning damage. So you're doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Oh, it's even 89 now. So I think that levels up. Anyway, all that is getting huge multipliers from right here. And then this, Close Combat, does a little more damage while you're close. This thing has a pretty small area, so this is just fine by me. Next we have our Charge Staff. Now, I just added this one, and I'm still trying to see how necessary it really is, but I've changed this up a little bit. That's why I'm making this new video. What we have on here is they gain 100% chance to shock, obviously. Penetrate 30% lightning resistance. Excellent. Magnitude of shocks. Excellent. And then supported skills inflict lightning exposure. All these pretty self-explanatory. Next, we got Herald of Ice. Herald of Ice explodes enemies when you kill them. So, you freeze an enemy, you kill it, it does a small explosion. Pretty nice. They penetrate more cold resistance, more area, gain more damage as cold damage after you freeze. Since you always freeze, this is always active. Excellent. Combat Frenzy, I have Profusion. So this is how we generate our power charges. Every time we freeze or electrocute an enemy, we gain a Frenzy charge. And thanks to our passive tree with Resonance, we gain power charges. So this keeps our uptime for Charge Staff basically always. That's why I don't have duration on here anymore. Though you could certainly swap one of these with duration, and all 4 are not necessary. You can easily still clear a lot with 3. But next I have Clarity. I'd rather replace this with Vitality. I just don't have the spirit for it yet. And then Cannibalism, 4% life on kill. So that's excellent. Hypothermia. Hypothermia is really good. I think it does 47%, 34% cold resistance. So it lowers the resistance. Make the area bigger. Increased effects. Oh, I think the increased effects is why I'm thinking 47. It might bring it up to that. I could be wrong. Does it tell us? It doesn't. Oh, wow. Oh, it says plus 25, so maybe it's 47. I don't know. It's a lot. And then this makes the curse apply almost instantly. It's much faster. Then we have Wind Dancer. Wind Dancer is our evasion. Now, our evasion, this is very necessary. If anything, I want more of it. But they have 100% chance to blind enemies on hit. Now, blind Okay, let me go back through this. This stacks up 3 stages, like you see right here. As soon as I'm hit, those 3 stages go away, and I lose a bunch of evasion. And it creates a shockwave. Now, this shockwave knocks enemies back, and it also will blind them. Blinding them lowers their accuracy, so that way you effectively keep the same evasion, at least against those enemies, while this has a faster time of recharging. You could have reduced charge duration on here, or reduced duration, if you have a 4th slot, but I haven't noticed any major problems. This is perfectly fine. Next we have Concentrated Effect. This just makes the little blast do more damage and affect a smaller area. Honestly, this you can honestly replace with that duration I was telling you about. And I might do that. And it's only level 14, so I'll probably upgrade that too. Anyways, next we have Herald of Thunder. Now, this is a new change I've added. You don't need Herald of Thunder. You could easily do Ghost Dance as well and get a bunch of energy shield. If you're feeling squishy, I recommend that. But this, along with our passive tree right here, that gives us 12 plus 12 plus 50% increase more lightning damage, I think is hard to pass up. So that's why I have Herald of Thunder here. And I have this set up so recover energy shield when it kills a shocked enemy. That happens semi-often. This electrocutes primed enemies on hit. And this does not shock enemies, but it will electrocute them. So hopefully, I tried this in one map and it seemed to be popping off pretty good. This will generate us more power charges and give us more crowd control. So, all around, excellent. Now, next we have Shattering Palm. This is the star of the show here. All these are stars of the show. But this is the mega star. If you want to clear a pack, this is basically Herald of Ice on crack. So, you hit an enemy, it shoots a bunch of crystals out. Those crystals hit other enemies. You kill one of those enemies, they explode and do a huge area damage that freezes a bunch more enemies. It's excellent. Clears packs basically instantly once you kill one of the enemies with the crystals on them. So I have this. They do more elemental damage for each skill used recently. So it's effectively 24, since we always have Ice Strike and we always have Charged Staff. Then we have Cold Explosion. They make enemies take more cold damage. I mean, simple enough. And then we have Momentum. This will do more damage if you charge at an enemy. It's a palm skill, so chances are you're going to be charging at an enemy. So yeah, that is my build so far. I think I'm going to put Reduced Duration on here to make my charges come back faster. And I think I'll add a different ice skill on there. So, I hope this helps you guys. I hope you guys like it. And hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I want to thank everybody who came into my streams, have liked, subscribed, followed, everything. I cannot thank you enough for all the support I've been getting. Everybody on Twitch, everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much.